Once again, we're coming back to you for the wake-up call in Hempstead, and now we have Brother Ben X. Welcome to the show, man.
Sir, thank you.
Now, I asked everybody, I'm going to ask you the same thing. What moved you to come to our community to be a part of this wake-up call for these people here, and me, myself, and all of us?
Well, first I was called, and as a man, I believe it is our responsibility, and we are obligated when we have the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding that is bringing about results for the community. Our community, where we are locally, is on a small microcosm, but there's also a macrocosm that's happening all over the world. And just because individuals in other cities may not be reaching the people doesn't mean that we leave those individuals, out. So if these individuals have already been calling us to the city, if these individuals already follow us on social media, I think that it's important for them to also see us in the community. So we got to move from the tweets to the streets as well. So the reason I'm here is because we was called, and as an obligation, as a civilized man, our duty is to help civilize the uncivilized and give knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to the dead. As a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, his mission was to make us into gods, beings with force and power, understanding that we have power on the inside where we can create our own reality. In Message to the Black Man, he stated that his mission is to give life to the dead. Whenever you have someone who has a solution, those solutions are valuable next to a problem. So a dentist is important because somebody got a toothache. A doctor is important because somebody got an illness. A mechanic is important because somebody has a mechanical problem with their car. Well, our people have a major problem. Our people have all kind of problem economically, mentally, and spiritually. And as a brother who's healing myself, in healing myself, I'm also giving a solution to our people as well. So it's my obligation.
Well, there you segued into my next question. Now, you didn't even have to pass me the mic. Give us some of the solutions that you guys have, bantered about since today. I know you had a couple before you came here, but tell our viewers some of the solutions, because we all know what our problems are. We know all of the illnesses. We know all of that. What are some of the solutions you guys brought out this weekend?
Well, my solution is always self-improvement. I believe self-improvement is the basis of community development. And being that self-improvement is the basis of community development, I have to figure out what my individual destination, I have to figure out what my individual vice is, because we all have problems, but all of our problems may be different. Yours may be marriage, mine may be money. Yours may be mindset, mine may be my attitude or something like that. So we have to figure out what our individual problem is, be aware of it, and then put together a plan, because I can know your car is messed up. I can know that the window is messed up, but what's the plan to get it done? So we have to plan. We have to have vision. Where there's no vision, the people will perish. We have to have a strategy. So the solution is to write it down on a piece of paper, put it on a board, and make sure every day we're working it out. Make sure every day we're working our strategy. Get you a mentor. Get with somebody who's already where you want to be, because there's two ways to learn. I can either learn from my own experience, or I can learn from you. 50 Cent already got shot 9 times. I don't have to get shot 9 times to understand that's not something I want to do. If you are successful in business, why should I try to recreate a wheel when you have already laid the blueprint? You are the other me. When I look at the word brother, it has the word other in there. I'm looking at my other self when I look at you. So many of us, we try to, be self-made, be independent, when I'm about being team-made. I'm about the collective effort. So I think the solution is get with 6 to 8 like-minded individuals, come together and do something for ourselves. But in order for us to do something for ourselves, I have to first do something with me first, because when I unite with you, you don't want to unite with somebody who's broken. You don't want to unite with somebody who's always negative when you bring in a solution. So I have to focus on my self-improvement and my mindset, because I always say we don't have a money problem. We don't have a weight problem. You got a lot of people going to get surgery, cutting all the fat off. You're going to just get that fat right back, because in your subconscious mind and your self-image, that's what you see. But when I change my mindset, change my diet, change my exercise, that's what's going to really permanently permanently remove the fat on my body. So that's the same way I feel about our community. We can get a restaurant, we can get a school, we can get a whole bunch of business, we can buy land, but if the individuals who are going to run the land, if the individuals who are going to run the school, if the individuals who are going to run the restaurants are not fully developed, then what's going to happen is we're going to run down the land, we're going to run down the school, we're going to run down the restaurant. So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said that we have to be vertically upright more than we are horizontally. Horizontally is your land, that's your businesses, that's your investments, but you have to be morally correct to be able to handle the money that's going to come. That's why people who go hit these lotteries, that's why they go bankrupt so fast, because they wasn't prepared for it mentally. So the solution is to focus on whatever our particular vice is, whatever our particular problem is, write it out, plan it, get with a coach, get with a mentor, get with somebody who's already done that and overcame it, and make sure every day we're taking a strive at that plan. Because sometimes if we don't have a plan, we getting up working 9 to 5 for somebody else and we're never accomplishing anything. We don't even have a plan to where if I didn't do something this week, I can't go back on last week and find out what I missed out on, what I slipped out on, because I never had a plan in the first place. But if I have a plan and a strategy, I can be a scientist on my own life and not talk about what everybody else not doing.
You know what? And that's called personal responsibility. And I mean, I like that. I mean, because I've been asking all of the attendees here various amounts of questions, and truly nobody ever hit on self-improvement. I didn't even get to that question, but I'm glad I got to get it from you, because that's a perfect answer, that we got to stop blaming other people and look at our own selves, because the answers to all of our problems are in us. They are in us. Quickly, before we go off, I want you to tell us what made you get involved with the nation, and then let our viewers know how they could reach you for further information on the philosophies that you're bringing out to the community today.
I was an All-American basketball player in college, and there was a brother who came and spoke at my school, the Black History School or Black Family class I was in. He spoke about the role of the male and the female, and he was speaking about how the man have to create an environment for the women, and we always telling the woman to submit. But who are we submitting to? We don't have to submit to truth. We're not submitting to Christ or God, whatever we want to call it. We're not submitting to, truth and things of that nature, but we want our woman to submit. So he said that our women are having so much hell because you are submitting to this man, but this man is not submitting to the truth. And he also talked about in every scripture that we have, the man has always been a provider, always been a protector, always been a maintainer. And I saw my mom work real hard and sacrifice to make sure I had everything that I needed. He was also an entrepreneur, and he also was about what he was talking about. He didn't just quote message to the black man. He didn't just talk about the honorable mama. He was a living example. His children never attended the public school, because you have many individuals who talk about the white man, the Edomite, the beast, and things of this nature, but you still sending your children there. You're still willingly going to his school. So not only was he an entrepreneur, but his children graduated high school at 14, 15, 16, already graduating college before they even turned 20 and things of that nature. So I saw he was a living example. And for me, I was already an entrepreneur growing up. My mom, we used to go to Sam's. I don't know if y'all have that out here. Or you go to Sam's Club, man, you can get you a box of honey buns, you get you a box of Skittles and Strawberries, and I'm flipping that at school. I'm selling Gatorades. So he was able to mentor me. He mentored me. He came to my basketball games all the way in, it was in another state. He came, not another state, but another city. He came and he took me out to eat and answered all the questions that I had about the Bible and things of that nature. So he was a real brother, so that's what really drew me. And then once I began to watch Brother Muhammad Ali, because he was an athlete and he was also in the Nation of Islam, and how bold he was, and he had a personality. He was able to make people laugh, but he was also able to speak truth to power and just stand up in the face of the enemy. How strong he was to say, I'm not going to the war, when everybody was going to the war. He said, man, they not calling me nigga, you my enemy right here, where I live at. So that was attractive to me. And then when I seen the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan breaking so many things down in his lectures, he talks about the man, he talks about economics, he talks about the family. I don't know of anything he hasn't talked about that is not a necessity for our people. So for me, man, what brought me in is just seeing the work. We didn't go away from the hood, we went straight to the hood. That's our focus, because if you're gonna be of God, God makes something out of nothing. If I went and bought you a new vacuum and I did something over the floor, but the floor was clean, you're gonna say, well, Brother Ben, I don't know if that works. The only way to know that it works, you got to make it the flow dirty. You got to drop Kool-Aid on it. And once you didn't pick that up, you say, boy, it's a bad vacuum. So for the Nation of Islam, that's what I seen. They took brothers who was once a murderer, now he giving life to the people. They took a brother who was once robbing and stealing from stores, now this brother got a business, bring a solution to the community, man. So that for me is what brought me to the Nation of Islam. And how y'all can follow me is go to @BrotherBenX on everything. That's Brother Ben X on Instagram, YouTube. I got the Brother Ben X podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. And if anybody would like to book me, go to bookbrotherbenx@gmail.com. And if you want to get my book is called Brother Ben X Book on Google. You can find it right there.
Once again, we want to thank you for coming to the Incorporated Village of Hempstead for the wake-up call. And you're watching. Stay tuned.